So here we have BNB Coin. So this is the official token of the Binance exchange. As we can see, pretty mega chart if you look into it. Like, the rise that this has had has been pretty incredible. It's a very good chain. I quite like it for doing some transactions, etc. on. So I think it'll be interesting to break this down and see where we have some levels to play. As you can see, we've just recently hit an all-time high, and so it may be interesting to look at where this could potentially pull back to, and then where you can get an entry should you wish to take it. So I think in honour of the new all-time high, we will go and put that in at the top up here. So we will make that green, and we will write all-time high, and we can come all the way back to here, and pretty much we don't really have an all-time low, so to speak. So we'll put that in there. But okay, so zooming in, so what levels do we have? So let's work from the top down on this one. So what do we have? We have a level there. That's a very interesting level. We've got this one here. We've got one slightly underneath. So those two are quite close together. An interesting level before the impulse. Looking over here, there is one here. There is also one slightly above there. Zoom out, you've got one there. You've got one above there. Ooh. Ooh, I did not mean to do that. So we will go back on. Nice little blooper there. So we have another one there. And then another one there. I think that's probably mostly relevant. I think this price action down here is largely irrelevant. We can see that this thing doesn't really retrace to this level much. So we'll go in and we'll write monthly. These two are a bit close together, so I will lose one of these at some point. Same with the one here, so we'll find a better point on that. And possibly the same when we get down to here. So let's zoom in a little bit. So going into the weekly, what can we see? So if we zoom in, we have a weekly level here. We can see that this level here on the monthly, we can move down slightly, and this feels like quite a nice level. What I will do is I will take this level and I will move that to there, because I quite like that. That seems to be quite a solid level. Obviously the monthly above it, you've got that, but I quite like there. I think that's an interesting one. And then this one we can move down slightly to encapsulate there. Actually, I quite like this candle here. So that gives us some nice room, and then we can see this big void in here. Going in, what do we have? There's a weekly level there. You've got previous all-time high. that may be an interesting spot. So we can zoom in. Actually, you know what? I do really like that level. So I am going to take that and I'm going to put weekly. So interesting to go off. So what next? So we look on the daily. So what are the daily levels to look at? So you can see where we've got that. You've got a reversal there. So I am going to put there. I'm going to put daily brackets reversal. We've got a daily level there. We've got one above. So these present quite interesting candles. So we can see that this has a habit, certainly up here, of the candles being quite similar next to each other. There's quite a lot of candles where you have daily closes that will close next to each other before then a large impulse. We can see this one here bouncing off of the all-time high. So to do this, so I will get our favorite FRVP and I will use it just on this region here so we can see where we're likely to get a reaction. So there is interesting, as is there. So let's draw a little box there. Let's draw a little box there just around that previous all-time high. We've got a little box there and a little box there. And what I will do is certainly that one. I will Alt-H and I will put a purple volume line. Don't think I need one around the all-time high. I'll put one there. And I'll put one there. So, zooming in a little bit. So what can we see? So we can see this area is an interesting one. So this 850 to 843, just above the daily level, and then below it we have that level there before quite a lot of volume above that all-time high, and then a bounce point potentially there. So looking at this, so how can we look at this? So you can see from a pattern perspective, big impulse, sell off to just above the impulse. We can see here, big impulse, sell off to just above the impulse. So this for me is making me really look at this, filling in this fair value gap here and potentially bouncing off either this 850.95 mark bang on, or finding somewhere inside this box before moving up again. And I think if we were to really sort of localize the volume in this area and go across like this, you can see, yeah, just if I move that line down slightly, we can see that 850.57 will be a very interesting point. So yeah, very interesting. Definitely one to keep an eye on.